wanted to take a little bit of time here and go over what I carried on the Appalachian Trail in 2018. This is just a pack loadout. My total base pack weight came in just under 9 pounds. I was at like 8.95 pounds. So it is an ultralight setup, but I do have a ton of luxury items in here. So stuff that I could definitely cut weight on and could change. And there is a whole nother video I'm gonna need to do on what I'm carrying in 2019 on the Appalachian Trail, because so many things have changed in this pack from what I learned about the trail, what I learned about myself, what I learned about my gear, and I was able to pick out some new things that I'm going to be running this year. So I'll do a separate video and go over all of that. But this is what I carried for the Appalachian Trail in 2018. So I'm going to start out with what I wore. So this is pretty much just every day what I had on. This is an ex officio vented button down shirt. It has roll up sleeves and you can strap them in so that it's a short sleeve shirt. It's got good ventilation, a couple of zipper pockets on the front, which worked well for whatever I needed once I took my pack off, when I was just kind of bumping around camp, if I needed somewhere to put my lighter or something like that, and didn't have to worry about it falling out of my pocket because it's zip closed. In colder times, I had some wool long johns. These are, I think, Polar Edge. I picked them up quite a while ago, but they're nice and light and they're wool and they do the job. They're very warm, so I definitely appreciated having these a lot of nights and mornings. I am a 5-inch inseam running short kind of guy, so I had a pair of 5-inch inseam running shorts and no liner on the inside. I generally would wear like a compression underwear or something like that. I completely forgot to bring those out with me today, but that's the shorts that I wore. And then I'm also a double sock wearer, so I have some Injinji liner socks with the toes, keep my toes separated. I feel like really overall comfort, these things were huge. I certainly appreciated having those. And then I had a pair of darn tough socks that I wore over them, and I wore the Brooks Cascadia 12s, which worked out pretty well. Good grip, they last a super long time. If I had it to do all over again, I'd go with different footwear, but you'll see that in another video. All right, and then I use the Black Diamond trail back with the flick lock trekking poles. I did go ahead and swap out to some Gossamer Gear LT5 grips. They did not come with the plugs, so I just took the plugs out of my LT4s and super glued them in here, and left a little residue, but they stayed in and they do really well. So I've been very happy with those. And all right, on the pack itself, this is a Gossamer Gear Kumo. I have done some modifications to the Kumo, not really crazy, but did change some things, so I'll talk about those as I move through the pack. First things first, camp shoes. So just some cheap Old Navy flip-flops. I had a couple of mini carabiners on the outside here that I would clip those to for when they were wet and muddy and I didn't have to worry about getting any of my stuff screwed up. So on the shoulder straps, the 2018 model of the Kumo came with these little stretchy mesh pockets. On this side, I kept some Body Glide and a small chapstick. And on this side, generally, I would have like a snack bar, or I could cram my phone down in there. However it worked out for the day, that's just open for whatever it needed to be. I did have a little towel, pack towel from REI. This thing was awesome. It doesn't really absorb a lot of water, or sweat, but it's very wicking, so it wouldn't be completely saturated by the end of the day from me drying my sweat off, but I could dry my sweat off with it all day. So it worked out really well. And then some hand sanitizer. This upper pocket here, basically the only thing I use that for is I have a little homemade Cuban fiber wallet. It's got some card slots in it and a spot for cache in the back, and I would just unzip that and it would ride in my pack like that. So I always had easy access to it. 2 side pockets. I had 700 ml smart water bottles on either one. This is one of the modifications that I did. I ripped the seam on the back here, and I was not frustrated, but just surprised to find that when I did research on this pack, it said, everyone said that you could reach up and grab your water bottle from behind you. And when I got it, I couldn't do that. I have a shorter torso. I'm pretty much all legs, so I run the hip belts on the upper loop, and that should bring it down a little bit more and make it even easier, but for some reason I still couldn't reach it. So I ripped this seam, did a little fold in the fabric, and then re-sewed it from the inside, and just reinforced it with that little hem cover that they had already in the pack. And now I can reach back and grab my water bottles. So I ended up dropping it about 2 inches, I think, and I did that on both sides. And basically all that rode in these side pockets were my water bottles. Every once in a while, my poly cryo ground sheet I would cram down in there as well, but that made it a little tougher to get to my water bottles. And then on some of the ridge walking we did, I opted to just kind of leave my trekking poles in the sides coming up too. So that's pretty much it for the side pockets. I did add a grow grain strip here, and that is for longer carries into dry camps. I could use this mitten hook to hook my water bottle up on the front here, and then I could put a bladder in the side pocket filled with water and carry in, I guess it would be up to 3 liters of water into camp if I was going into a dry camp. So you've seen this in a video before, my shelter, rain gear, pack cover, everything. This is a very universal piece of gear. I love it, and I did a full review on this, so check that out. It's been a little while back, but you can find it in my videos. I also wore some Dirty Girl gaiters. The Brooks Cascadios didn't come with Velcro on the back, so I just got some stick-on Velcro and put it on there, and then carried a couple extra pieces with me in my ditty bag. These should have been out with my worn gear, but yeah, those 1 gallon Ziploc for trash. My poly cryo is completely dead, so this is my new poly cryo. So haven't had it out to use yet, but that's to represent the one that died long ago. Nightcore NU25 headlamp. This is the one from Lightsmith, so I have the little shock cord lighter weight option for the head strap. This is a awesome light. It's got a bunch of different modes. I can do a review on this if you want to see more about it, but it's a pretty incredible headlamp. Tons of different options on it, and it is rechargeable. You don't have to carry any batteries. So 1.5 liter Evernew dirty water bag. I could fill this up and top both my water bottles off pretty much. I did carry a Sawyer Mini. This is a new Sawyer Mini. This is not the one I carried on the trail. That one, the label's gone on it, so I wanted to just bring out this new one so you could see the label on it. Smooth bowl spoon, long handle. I eat out of Ziploc bags, so I need to be able to get down into the corners of the bags, and a longer spoon just works out better for me. For tent stakes, I carried, everything was dirty when it went in here with mud, and now it's all stuck, but see if I can get it out, show you. All right, so I carried 3 of the titanium Tokes V stakes. Carried 3 of those guys, and I just tied a little loop of some Dyneema cord on the top of that, and then I carried 4 of the MSR carbon cores, and I have just a little nylon 1mm that Z-Pack sells, loop tied on the top of each one of those. That system worked out really well for me. I bent this stake a half a dozen times, and I would just kind of fold it back, and I ended up using it for my head tie out so that it didn't have too much pressure, and just was a little more careful about where I put that in the ground. Sometimes you didn't have a whole lot of choice, but if you're careful, you can kind of just pick around. I think that's it for the outside of the pack. One big problem I had was mice eating my pack. They wanted to chew it all up. This patch is covering a hole right here where I'm not sure if I had like some peanut butter or something on my hand and picked my pack up or opened my pack up, but they chewed a hole through there. I have holes I've sewn up and patched all along the front here. There were multiples all down here, so I ended up just kind of like folding it down and running a bar tack across it to try and repair it. But it worked out. It's holding up, so happy with that. And the only other thing that's left on the back of my pack here is a sit pad, and then I tuck in a Thermarest Neo-Air X-Lite behind it. I also swapped out the compression cords for some Spectra cord and kept the same cord lock, but it works great for compressing. This is a pretty small volume pack, so I really didn't have a whole lot of times where I just needed the compression, so wasn't a big deal anyways. I probably could have just taken them off altogether. Probably my biggest complaint about this pack is this clip right here. When you wake up and it's 15 degrees outside and you need to get in or out of your pack or need to close this up, it is probably one of the most frustrating things on the planet to try and get that little clip open. So I honestly, I wish they would have just like left it alone or cut that piece of fabric out here, and that way it just kind of like tucked and then folded down. I don't know. Poop kit, basically deuce of spades, and I probably have a half a roll of toilet paper in there right now. Didn't usually carry that much, but that's what I have stuck in there. I would unroll parts of it and take parts with me, and yeah. This is the 6 Moon Design Serenity Net Tent. This is what I use for bug protection, and I also use this for the bathtub floor being waterproof under the Gatewood cape, so that it would keep me dry in more serious rain. And that's just in a little Cuban stuff sack from Z-Packs. I threw this in here at the last minute when I was packing this thing up, but carried the fleece hat with me. Some mornings I wore it, some mornings I didn't. I actually wore a ball cap most of the time, so and it's like one of those floppy dad hats. I love the thing. I couldn't find it this morning. I don't know where it is. One of my kids may have ran off with it, but fleece hat, good to have within hand's reach. This is the cook kit that I carried. I did a video on an alcohol stove setup with this cook, kind of a change to this cook kit. But same carbon fiber lid, same 550 pot, same cozy, but with the BRS stove. And yeah, this was a question that I had before I chose to go this route, and it was something that I had to test. So the Toaks 550 pot will fit a 110 gram fuel bottle in there. And then if you just kind of lay your BRS stove in, you have room for it on the side. Now it pokes up just a hair, but I also have room for a mini Bic lighter. It's falling out, and I've got some hot lips down there, and then I just have a towel that's kind of wrapped underneath the fuel canister to keep it from getting the rust ring on the bottom of it transferred to my pot. So I put that all together like that, and then my lid, instead of putting it on this way, I just flipped it over so that it gave it a little bit more space, and then tucked everything down inside. Now the factory lid that comes with these has a little raised area across the top, and so if you wanted, you could stuff this exact same stuff in here, put the factory lid on there, and pull it up. As long as your bag you carry it in has a pretty good cinch, it'll hold everything in place, or just throw a rubber band on it and that'll work out real well. So that was the cook kit that I carried. electronics bag. It's just a little DIY Cuban bag. I got wall wart in there with a double USB, and then Anchor 13,000 milliamp, and then a couple of cords, one for the Anchor, one for my iPhone. It's my ditty bag. I did another pack unloading video for a cold weather trip a couple weeks ago, maybe 3, and I went through the ditty bag, kind of everything that's in there. Nothing changed. I mean, the amount of ibuprofen I carried would have changed. That's about it. So one of the things that I was happy I did was carry the full-size Z-Packs food bag on the AT. This is just some food I threw in here, but it represents probably what would be about 4 days worth of food for me. I am a vegetarian, so I kind of narrow on food options sometimes, and I just ate the same thing over and over and over, and it was mostly peanut butter and energy type bars. There's a couple of companies that make some really good ones, a lot of Bobo bars and complete cookies and things like that, and then pasta. Ate a lot of pasta. So I did cut and sew in a flat bottom on this food bag like I do on all the Z-Packs food bags I get, and that just makes it more squared up so it can fit down in a pack. And then there's a whole lot to be said for being able to stand your pack up and kind of dig through it when you're looking for something. So the extra space, if you're questioning if this bag is too big for you for a multi-day food carry, that you don't ever fill it up, think about the mice. At night, once you get to this level, you're gonna want to put everything in here before you hang it. Food, like your cook kit. I put my ditty bag in there. I put my trash bag in there. What else would I would cram everything in here. If I had any kind of, like, sometimes I would carry wet wipes with me. I would put those in there. Just everything that a mouse could ever want to eat should go in here. They like salt too, so if you have a sweaty old pair of socks, there's mice and possums, things like that, they go for the salt. So yeah, definitely take that in consideration when you're choosing or questioning if the big bag is too big for your needs. I have a nylon flume bag in here from Lightsmith also, and on this pack it serves as water protection, and it also it's my inflator, so I'll show you that once I get it out. But I carried the OR Transcendent Puffy, and I carried the hooded version, and it's a great jacket. I have it in the non-hooded version here, and then the hooded version, it's the exact same jacket, just hood, one without. Nature Hike, Monster Pillow, Amazon, super cheap, worked well forever. And then I carried this 15-degree quilt, and when it was a little bit warmer, it does cinch at the bottom, and it has snaps, so you can actually let the cinch cord out all the way and just kind of drape it over you. But never had a problem being too warm in this. It was a great quilt. Really happy that I chose to take that one and not a 30-degree quilt or anything different. So getting down to the bottom, this is my sleeping shirt. And got the Buff brand AT Trail Map Buff, an extra pair of Darn Tough socks, and just some lightweight running gloves. These are Under Armour. For their weight and their thickness, they're incredibly warm, and they worked out really well. So very happy with those. So I know this is really crinkly, so I'll try to move slow. For the pad inflator part of this, on the bottom corner, I took and basically just cut off a smart water bottle right below the ridge there where the cap screws down, and then basically shoved the corner of the bag through there and folded it over and screwed the lid back on. And then the gasket in there is for a end of a water hose, and put that in there, tightened everything down, and then just snapped the cap off of it. I broke the cap off of it and popped that little blue piece out, and the hole was already there, which is perfect size for a thermarest. The screw tops on the Climates and some other pads, Big Agnes, stuff like that, they're bigger than that, so you'll have to change the diameter of that gasket if you're running something different than a thermarest. But I want to say these are like the 3/4 inch just standard water hose gaskets, and I tightened everything together. And so when I'm using it, I basically just open up the valve on the thermarest, push this on there, it fits really tight, and then I just open the bag up and let some air get in there, and then cinch the top and squeeze it down, and it inflates. Usually if I do that maybe 2.5 times, the pad's completely inflated. I give it a couple more breaths to just tighten it up a bit, and I'm ready to go. So I don't have to get lightheaded and blow into the airbag for 5 minutes and all that. And when it's really cold outside, I know you know what I mean, but when you are airing that pad up and you breathe in through your nose constantly, and it's just like ice forming on your nose. So I love that I did something like that. So this is my 2018 Ultralight pack loadout that I carried on the Appalachian Trail. And if you have any questions or comments, just drop them in the box below. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll be out with that 2019 pack list soon. Thanks for watching.